Yes. You're welcome.
Someone well done. Oh, wow. I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot of work together. Koyo da safe amma magana a Linubu. Koyo da safe sai da wasu suka bi magana kamar ce wannan star power
First, please everyone be seated. Let's make sure we occupy the front seats.
If you want to come out so that we can capture you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's all rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much. Good morning once again. I would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Her Excellency, in person of Hajia Hanut Musawa. You're welcome, ma'am. Please let's put our hands together. And our founder for today of Arewa International Film Festival, in person of Hajia Ramatu SADAU. Please let's put our hands together for her. And also the presence of the director of the Nigerian Film Commission, in person of Dr. Alinuhu. Let's put our hands together. And also the presence of Ajia Aisha Adamu Augi, the DG Center for Black African Culture, Art and Culture. You're welcome, ma'am. Let's put our hands together. And also the presence of MC Ashraf, aka MC Ashraf NG. Yeah, you're welcome. And also the presence of also one of the representatives of the Arewa International Festival, a head of admin, Mr. Ayodeji Olabi. And also our other representative in person of Mr. Sultan as well. Let's put our hands together for all of them. Thank you very much. And once again, you're all welcome to the Arewa International Festival official press release and the unveiling of the ceremony of the Northern Nigeria's biggest film festival, and also which is showcasing the untapped potential and the rich heritage of the Northern Nigeria and the storytelling of the Sahel region. So without further ado, we'd like to just dive into the program of today that we have, which is the official unveiling of the program by the founder, Ms. Ramatu SADAU. Let's join our hands together as she comes on.
Distinguished guests, hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Hello. Oh. You might just take it off.
Good morning. Yes. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen of the press, representatives of the diplomatic corps, creative practitioners, partners, stakeholders, and friends of the Arewa International Film Festival. Good morning once again, and thank you all for joining us today for this historic press briefing, the official unveiling of the Arewa International Film Festival 2025. It is a moment of profound pride, humility, and purpose as we stand at the threshold of an exciting new chapter in northern Nigeria's creative journey. Arewa International Film Festival is more than just a film festival. It is a cultural renaissance, a youth empowerment movement, and a platform to reclaim the narrative of the Sahel through our own voices. In November 2025, Kaduna State, the heartbeat of northern Nigeria, will host over 100 curated film screenings, cultural exhibitions, and a dynamic convergence of creative stakeholders, investors, diplomats, and storytellers from across the world. Arewa International Film Festival aims to amplify the creative and cultural expressions of northern Nigeria, long celebrated for its rich history, literature, and oral traditions, but underrepresented in the global creative dialogue. Permit me at this point to extend sincere appreciation to individuals and institutions whose belief in this vision has strengthened our resolve and laid the foundation for Arewa International Film Festival 2025. First, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy, Barrister Hannatu Musa Musawa, my auntie, for her unflinching support and endorsement for this maiden edition. It is truly commendable for her visionary leadership and national drive for cultural investment and unwind beneath our weight. Honorable Minister, thank you for your belief in the Arewa story. We truly appreciate you. To my boss, my mentor, my father, Dr. Alinu, the Managing Director of the National Film Corporation, your passion and leadership in the film sector continue to inspire. Your dedication to building institutional bridges and unlocking regional potential is deeply appreciated. Thank you for birthing Rahama SADAU. I also acknowledge the federal government of Nigeria for its commitment to providing an enabling environment for the growth of the creative sector, particularly in untapped regions like northern Nigeria. We are optimistic that this alignment will yield measurable impact across job creation, youth empowerment, and cultural diplomacy. Special thanks also goes to the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Hajia Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, for her thoughtful and bold leadership in championing marketable and transformative skills for women like us, many of whom will benefit directly from Arewa Creative Workshop and Masterclass. Your advocacy and empowering not just women, but entire community. We equally recognize the strong encouragement and presence of Honorable Minister of Defense, Alhaji Matawali, whose decision to come on board as a key federal supporter of Arewa International Film Festival adds significant weight and confidence to this initiative. His support reinforces the intersection of national peace, peace building, and creative diplomacy, all of which Arewa International Film Festival proudly embodies. To the Honorable Minister, for your unwavering commitment to telling the Nigerian story, my Honorable Minister of Arts, with dignity and global appeal, aligns seamlessly with our festival mission. We thank you once again for your support and encouragement. To the National Coordinator, to the National Coordinator of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprise IDICE, Mr. Ife Dr. Ife Adebayo, your leadership and policy vision continue to energize innovation within the creative ecosystem. Your efforts are helping reposition Nigeria as a continental hub for digital and artistic excellence. We also extend our sincere gratitude to the Director General of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, Hajia Aisha Aoudi, for affirming the historical and cultural roots of our identity through institutional partnerships that enrich this platform. To the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, we deeply appreciate your agency's commitment to driving digital inclusion and virtual learning, especially your onboarding support for the Arewa Creative Workshop and Masterclass. Your efforts help bridge the gap between traditional storytelling and digital content production. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to walk you through what you can expect from Arewa International Film Festival 2025. As the convener of this initiative, I will continue to advocate for inclusive narratives that reflect the diversity, richness, and resilience of the Sahel region and its people. This festival is deeply personal and yet undeniably collective. One of the most significant moments of today's gathering is the official unveiling of the Arewa International Film Festival 2025 theme, which is Emerging Voices of the Sahel. This theme speaks to a powerful truth that crossed the Sahel region, from the ancient cities of Kano and Zaria to the vibrant hearts of Borno, Sokoto, Yola, and beyond, and a new generation of creators are rising, ready to tell their stories and shape global conversations through the lenses of culture, heritage, and identity. Arewa International Film Festival 2025 is designed as a festival of impact, brimming with purposeful programming that mirrors this awakening. Our opening activations begins with Arewa Creative Workshop and Masterclass, ACWM, an intensive training for over 500 semi-beginner creatives selected from across 19 northern states, who will be empowered with practical filmmaking, editing, production, and digital storytelling skills. These young minds will be trained not just to compete, but to lead. The festival program also features provocative panel discussions that would interrogate societal issues and inspire positive change. Film screenings that showcase over 100 outstanding title films from Africa and the Global South. A special celebration of women in filmmaking, honoring their contribution and visibility in the industry. The parade of colorful Royal Durbar Festival, blending cinematic elegance and cultural heritage. Arewa International Film Festival Awards Night, recognizing excellence and innovation across the creative spectrum. A talent showcase that spotlight emerging stars from the region. A cultural exchange gala night to connect global guests with Sahelian traditions. Networking sessions and mentorship-driven masterclasses for creators and industry leaders. In line with this year's theme and inclusive vision, we are proud to also unveil our festival ambassador categories. These are individuals that will help amplify the festival's message and inspire even more participation across generations and geographies. We have the festival patron, which is a respected elder and visionary who champions Northern Nigeria's cultural evolution. And the festival matron, a woman of influence who nurtures creative growth and supports female representation. Festival National Ambassador, a leading voice from the film industry bridging Arewa International Film Festival with national visibility. Festival Global Ambassador, a celebrated figure who shares Arewa stories with the world. A Festival Gen Z Ambassador, a rising youth leader or creative who speaks to the aspirations of the next generation. These ambassadors will serve not only as faces of the festival, but as movement builders, whose presence will help Arewa International Film Festival 2025 resonate within and far beyond Nigerians' borders. A key part of this press unveiling is your participation, the media. You are the mirrors and the messengers. We look forward to your coverage, feedback, and support in taking the Arewa story far and wide. This event will also facilitate interactions across ministries, missions, NGOs, and the creative community to strengthen partnerships and broaden the festival's reach. As we prepare for November 2025, we are not merely planning a festival. We are launching a movement of stories, a generation of creators, and a platform of inclusion. The Arewa International Film Festival will be a place of memory, visibility, and rebirth of the Sahel. We invite the world to listen, witness, and participate. Let Arewa International Film Festival be the bridge. Let the stories of Arewa find their audience, because the time is now. Thank you and welcome to Arewa International Film Festival 2025.
Thank you very much, the founder of Arewa International Film Festival. I'm sure you've all heard what Arewa International Film Festival has in store for you. And I'm already excited, and I'm sure everyone is excited here, considering this is one of its kind in the whole of the region, in the Sahel region. So I'm sure the press must have a lot of questions. Before questions of the press, I would give the podium to the Honorable Minister Honorable Minister of...
Just Honorable Minister is fine.
Sorry. Yeah, I will give the podium to the Honorable Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy for her remark. Please, let's join our hands as she comes on.
Good morning, everyone. So the Managing Director of the Nigerian Film Corporation, of course, we know who that is, the great, great Dr. Ali Nuhu, the Director General for the Center for the Black and African Arts and Culture, of course, my darling sister forever, Dr. Aisha Auki. So I bequeath that to you. And of course, the National Coordinator of the Investment in Digital Creative Enterprise, IDICE, Dr. Ife. MC Ashraf, of course, that's another brother, a Nigerian pride to me. And of course, the founder of the Arewa International Film Festival, Madam Rahma SADAU, who has been opening up that conversation and bringing Arewa on an even platform with the global community as to storytelling. Arewa has got to tell its story, and we have a lot of stories to tell. So we cannot continue to allow our stories to be told for us. We can do it by our expression through the creative form, and I think this is exactly what Arewa International Film Festival is tapping into. And to look at what Rahama has put together in terms of the kaleidoscope and the real scope, the wide scope that she's going to offer at this film festival, I think is really going to open up the conversation and allow Arewa to really be part of that tapestry of the creative industry that Nigeria is really being celebrated for now. And we, as a ministry and as a government, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is really tapped in to see how we can open up that opportunity and the greatest opportunity, like I've said, for the teeming and growing population of Nigeria, and specifically of Arewa, is really to bring in jobs, to see how we can engage people, to have our stories told, to reposition who we are as a people, and to show the value and the worth that Arewa has to offer through the expression of the creative. This is exactly what the Arewa International Film Festival looks to do. To have a theme, the emerging voices of the Sahel, cannot be more apt, because it is the emerging voices of the Sahel. And we as a ministry are going to offer the full support. We are going to move mountains to ensure that Rahama, your vision, and the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is something that we can deliver as tangible deliverables to the Nigerian community. So I really thank you. I'm looking forward to really being part of this and immersing myself in some of the activities. And beyond that, I am very grateful that I'm in this journey of growth for Nigeria, this journey of growth for Arewa, this journey of growth for the next generation, with this amazing group of sons and daughters of Arewa. That is Ali Nuhu, that is Rahama SADAU, that is MC Ashra, and that is Aisha Auki, and every other single member of this group that is sat up here. So we're in this together, and sometime in history, when history looks back at what you have done, and we have done collectively as a group, I think Nigeria will shine brightly, and the next generation will look at us and be grateful for what we have to offer. So thank you for being part of this great journey with me.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Minister. And Honorable Minister, as she said, they're going to move mountains. And honestly, I think she has already started moving mountains, because from the point of inception of this program, the Honorable Minister has been given a monumental support from the get-go. Whenever we wanted to see her, whenever we wanted advice, whenever we wanted consultations, she's always making sure that she's available. So, Honorable Minister, there's no enough words to express our appreciation on this. We truly appreciate and thank you for all you've been doing, for all you're planning to do for Arewa and the people of Nigeria. Thank you very much. And moving forward to the Oga MD, Managing Director, Nigerian Film Corporation, we will also give him the podium to say one or two words to give his remarks. Let's give our hands together, please.
The Honorable Minister for Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Barrister Annette Musa Musawa, my colleague Aisha Ogikuta, the DG of CBAC, members of the press, invited guests, good morning, everyone. I've been in this industry before I was appointed as the MD of the Nigerian Film Corporation. And I know what we've been through over the years, even though I was able to cross over to do films in the South. But I know how the North is left behind when it comes to activities like this. Even when you look at Southern Nigeria and the kind of films they do, the opportunities they get, it's all because of platforms like this. Platforms like the Africa Magic Viewers Choice Award, Afrif, AMA, and what have you. When you look up north, you find out that we have barely 2 or 3 of such kind of activities going on. That's, we have the Kilaf, we have the Kaduna Film Festival, but I like this particular one called the Ariwa International Film Festival. Why? Because this is mainly about all the filmmakers in the north first. Yeah, before, I know it's a platform for everybody, any filmmaker across the globe, anywhere, but then when you narrow it to Ariwa, we have so much problems that we need to address. Now, this platform is going to provide a lot of opportunity for a lot of activities. Activities like capacity building, skills acquisition, you know, networking, opportunities of partnerships, sponsorships, and what have you, which most of the stakeholders from Kannywood have been complaining about. So this is not just a credit for to Rahama SADAU alone, but to everybody who has been behind this journey before it came to this stage that it is. And it is an opportunity for all serious stakeholders from northern Nigeria to make sure that they engage. You know, sometimes activities like this happen and stakeholders become very reluctant in participating. But from what our Honorable Minister has been trying to advocate for all these years, that the youths in Arewa need to get engaged in activities like this. So I think this is a great platform that Rahama has provided for everyone to come and engage. And for anybody who feels they are a fan of Kannywood, this is the opportunity to invest and be a part of this project. Yeah, because we're all proud of it. To Rahama SADAU and the entire team, I'll say kudos to them. Why? Because Rahama has been, you know, she's one person that has been very dogged, very hardworking, and she tries to break boundaries, you know. She tries to break boundaries, which is very good. You know, when you're adventurous, you come up with things that people don't even imagine are possible. Most people in the north will tell you it's not possible to hold a festival like this. But here she has the platform now and she's trying to do it. And she has all the backing. So we're very excited that this is happening. Come November, we'll storm Kaduna and we'll be a part of it. From the Nigerian Film Corporation, we're ready anytime, any day. This is what my principal, the Honorable Minister, has always advocated for, that we should try to support any activity of this sort that's going on. So kudos to Rahama SADAU and the team. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for always being there for us whenever we need you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alinu, for such moving speech. And I'm sure there's nothing short of what he has said, especially about the founder. Rahama SADAU has been working very hard, especially on this project. I mean, I can tell you, I can bear witness from the time she brought up with this idea, is something that I already knew that this is something that is going to be very monumental. And she's already said it, and we have another, one of our staff for the Ariwa International Film Festival. He's going to say more about it. So let me not give you spoilers. Yeah, so we would go forward to give the podium to the DG Center for Black African Art and Culture, person of Ms. Aisha Ogi, to say a wonderful.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. First of all, I would like to say a huge thank you to our Honorable Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy for constantly making the time. We were reminiscing just 2-3 days ago, I believe. I met him over 20 years ago. Rahama, our dearest younger baby sis, who has been extremely powerful and as my DG said, dogged and focused on her growth and career span and opening up ecosystems for others to thrive. My other DGs present and all other distinguished members of AIFF, my colleagues, the members of the press, I think I'll stand on all existing protocols there. For us at the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, it is extremely important for everyone to be heard. We are a voice for all Black and African people, and Arewa people is a combination of kingdoms, of history, of contributions to civilization that have been left behind in various narratives. Everywhere globally, we do not have a strong voice. You look at our museums, we do not have enough stories. You look at what we have, obviously, for example, you see Hausa is a huge language across West Africa, all the way into the likes of Mali, Senegal, but we don't have enough voices telling those stories. And that is what a film festival like this can do, to bring out voices. We're seeing films coming out of Nupe land, Bagi land. We're seeing voiceovers coming out of Bauchi. We're seeing stories of the Kanem Empire that have not been seen or heard. And a festival like this will allow those voices to be seen and heard. So kudos to the Arewa International Film Festival. We are here to support. We will continue to support with as many indigenous stories as we can. We're already talking to various producers and filmmakers to ensure that authentic cultural stories are embedded in the films that we see across, coming out of Nigeria and the rest of Africa. So congratulations again. We are here to support, and we look forward to the massive Arewa International Film Festival come November. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And what she has said just made me remember that, you know, the first submission we actually had when the film festival announcement was made was actually from the US by a filmmaker who has never been to Nigeria, and he submitted an AI film about northern Nigeria. So this is to show you how much interest it is in the untapped resources that are in the region. So I would say I'm excited, and I hope everyone is excited as well. And I would give the mic to Mr. Ayodeji, who is also going to shed more light about what we have in store for you. Mr. Ayo.
Permit me to stand on existing protocol. Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your unwavering support. And our DGs also, thank you so much for being here. And also to our Auntie Rama, our SA over there, thank you so much. Arewa International Film Festival is an identity for every northerner. If you understand your story, you should tell your story. And there is no anybody who is going to tell your story like you. So I want you to understand that the project is not for the big guys who are already in the industry. The project is for every commoner on the streets of Arewa who is craving for a platform to thrive and to be seen by the acts and by the potentials that you carry every day on the streets of Arewa. We want to transform our ecosystem. We want to change the landscape. We want to tell our story differently. And that is what Arewa International Film Festival platform is offering. The artisan in Sokoto, the song producer, beat makers in Bauchi, in Far North, Kebbi, Yod, Meduguri, Borno, Yola. These are the people we are targeting to reach out with. And we believe that with the support of the state government and every other stakeholders, we will be able to reach these people. And we are also believing that within the space of 5-10 years, the storyline that will be coming out of this region is totally going to be different from what we are seeing today, and it's going to be global competitive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayo. And to the next is in person of Mr. Ashraf. And I think I also forgot to mention that MC Ashraf is one of our festival national ambassadors. So please, let's give our hands together for MC Ashraf.
Distinguished guests, members of the press, esteemed partners and creatives from across the globe, the Honorable Minister, Art, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, the DG CPAC, the MD Nigerian Film Corporations, ladies and gentlemen, good day everyone. Today marks the official unveiling of Arewa International Film Festival 2025, a bold new chapter in our cultural and creative narrative, proudly pioneered by the phenomenal SADAU. Please can we give her a round of applause one more time? It is both an honor and a responsibility that I carry with pride to stand before you today as the National Ambassador of the Arewa International Film Festival 2025. As the National First Ambassador, I am honored to partner with a coalition of global professionals, visionaries, and cultural shapers who believe that the Sahel can be a source of global inspiration, not just global concern. This festival is an unprecedented initiative that has come at a time when the world is in search of new narratives, and we from Arewa and the Sahel region are ready to tell our own stories ourselves. I want to deeply appreciate the visionary behind this noble endeavor, the relentless and remarkably bold SADAU, whose commitment to storytelling, cultural identity, and youth empowerment has birthed what may very well become a continental turning point in film, art, innovation. Please put your hands together for Rama one more time. Rama, for not just dreaming, for doing. Thank you. The Arewa International Film Festival is not just about film, it's about life, it's about truth, about art, and about perspective. As Northerners and as young dreamers and doers, we choose to shape the narrative about us and for us. This festival will actually feature a number of activities, from film screenings, to high-level panels, to workshops, master classes, Durbar and cultural parades. You can name them all. These are not just numbers. These are lifelines. These are doors opening for generations eager to take its place on global stage. As the national ambassador of this prestigious festival, I'm here to say loudly, the world is watching. Let's give them something worth seeing. To our young filmmakers, storytellers, poets, animators, editors, scriptwriters, dreamers and doers, to all the visionaries from Arewa and across the world, it is your time. Your camera is your voice, your script is your power, and your art is your protest. This is your call to action. The world is listening. This is your moment. Let your voice be heard loudly, clearly, and proudly. This project is about elevating our voices, reclaiming our stories, and competing globally, not just for the sake of presence, for impact, for representation, and for change. We are no longer content with being footnotes in global conversations. We are here with substance, with solution, and our soul. While some of us are counting the problems of our people, a rising number of us are here co-creating solutions through art, collaboration, and courage. We are proving that creativity can be a tool for economic growth, youth engagement, and rebranding Northern Nigeria and transforming our communities with lights, camera, and action. We are daring to execute all of this fiercely, faithfully, without apology. In a time where disillusionment threatens our youth, this festival is a hope with a microphone, a vision on screen, and empowerment in motion. Let me leave you with this. The Arewa International Film Festival is not just for Arewa, it's for the continent, for the globe, and for everyone who believes in the power of stories to shift mindsets and to spark revolutions. We are not only spotlighting Northern creatives, but make no mistake, this is an international movement. It's about connecting tradition with innovation and film with real impact. It's about exporting richness of our culture and global audiences, not for validation, but for visibility and influence. Let the world know that Arewa is not silent. We are cinematic, we are bold, and we are ready. Please join us, support us. Let's amplify the voices of Nigerians, because history is not just written, it is filmed, it is directed, and it is delivered. Thank you. Long live Arewa, long live African creativity, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our able Festival National Ambassador. So last but not the least, we're going to give it to the press. I'm sure most of you must have one or two questions to throw to the stand.
Good morning, Honorable Minister, and good morning, all protocol duly observed. My name is Ene Oshaba, and I report for Guardian newspapers. My first question is to the Honorable Minister, ma'am. I wanted to know what specific incentives that you line up to ensure that the young creatives from the North export their films and cultural content to the international community. Secondly, it may begin to feel that the Arewa creatives will be more favored in the nation when it concerns what the ministry have in stock for creatives in Nigeria. And we all know that from time past, that the creative industry is basically and majorly a private industry sponsorship, and we've not seen much of government support. I want to know what is the new agenda for the creative industry for Nigeria, and how you can, bring everyone on board and not just a particular region, so everybody will feel wanted and appreciated. Yes.
Take all the questions together. Yeah.
Okay. So my second question is to the organizer. I want to commend your work and also to quickly ask you how you intend, how can youth get to, be members of these initiatives that you're creating? Because a lot of people, will write stories and then they'll see it and they'll be wondering, how can I be a part of this? What is your agenda and how can people key into this, especially the Arewa youths? And for CBAC, I hope I pronounced that clearly. Thank you very much, ma'am, for a great speech that you had. I would like to know, are there any challenges facing cultural institutions in Nigeria? And how will a festival like this help us to sell our culture proudly to the international community? What advice would you be giving to creatives in Nigeria? And lastly, it's a general question. We know that Arewa youths, especially the female, if I'm not mistaken, are always expected to be seen and not to be heard. We've had so many instances where we have good creatives who cannot come out because of the conservative and stereotypical nature of the region. How will this festival further give female creatives the opportunity to explore and also bring them to the forefront of filmmaking and participation in Nigeria? Thank you.
I think we'll take the questions first. Yeah, let's take the questions and then we get the answers. And I think let's also keep it brief. Is there any other questions?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdulatif SADAU. I write for Billy Trust. My question is actually to the founder of Arewa International Festival. There's a quote that says that you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. So I really want to know whether you're actually championing this alone. You know, good, we have the backing of the government, we have the honorable ministers here, and we also have the MD of the Film Corporation. Are you also, you know, championing this together with other stakeholders in the industry, or you are a loner?
Bluetooth, you can ask questions. Questions so we can.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana, and I report for the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. My question is going to be for Mr. Sani Nuhu. Ali Nuhu, I beg your pardon. My question is, how would this festival promote or create enabling environment to discover new talents, new filmmakers, and to create the market space? Because it goes beyond just having the festival. It would require the end product of the festival, which is production of movies, plays, and all of that, that would sustain what the festival has presented. So what would you guys be doing to ensure that this creates the platform where we discover new faces, new talent, new filmmakers, especially coming from the Arewa region?
I think we are done with the questions, so we'll get the answers.
Yeah, right? So I think let me pivot back and end up with your very loaded. So I think the first, there was a question from Abdulatif SADAU, even though I think it wasn't directed, I mean it was probably a general question, where you were talking about if you want to go far, you go together. If you want to go, you know, you go further when you walk together. I think that really that speaks to the collective responsibility. But it is important for us as an Arewa brand to also show a level of worth and value in order for us to justify, you know, being an equal partner in that general conversation. So I think what Rahma is doing is really putting the Arewa together, or Rahma and her team are doing, is putting Arewa together on an even platform, so that we as a Nigerian collective can go further together. Of course, you have other film festivals, you have AFRIF, you have other film festivals that have already been established, right? So I think Arewa needs to take its place within that conversation, and I think having this international film festival is one that will allow Arewa, you know, a seat at that specific table whereby we can go together. And I think as a team, you know, the government, like I said, is going to be there and to give all the support that is necessary. And it's a continuing conversation that we're having. I think beyond that, Rahma is also looking at the private sector. She's also looking at the we don't use the word subnationals anymore, but the state governments. So it's a general partnership. It's a partnership that carries everybody along. You have the private sector, you have the public sector, you have the state governments, and all other, and the creative industry itself, the creative industry players. So I think intentionally it is a project whereby it's going to be run with a plethora of hands on the deck in order for us to go further and for Arewa to justify its place to that general and international conversation. And I think the first question, there was a number of questions. You asked about the incentives. Well, I think before we even get to the incentives, you did ask whether, you know, the ministry was willing to look at other areas beyond Ariwa. I think one of the criticisms that we have gotten as a ministry is that, we have not been there enough for the Ariwa industry itself. And I tell you why. Perhaps it's a little bit of a misnomer, because as a new ministry, we first of all had to start from ground zero. We met really nothing on the ground, and President Bola Tinubu wanted us to set up a proper foundation for growth that would be able to vehicle itself beyond us. So what we looked to do was to set an enabling environment. We were not looking at Ariwa or Lagos or anywhere specifically. We're looking at the project as a Nigerian project. And everything that is needed for the industry to grow is the same everywhere. You need policy, you need infrastructure, you need incentives, you need funding, you need regulation. So that is the approach that we have had. The policy in and of itself is really speaking to, first and foremost, intellectual property, right? So if you don't have intellectual property policy, whether you're Ariwa or anywhere else in the country, you're not going to be able to grow the industry or to grow your own value within the industry itself. So when we look at bringing policy, then the infrastructure, one of the areas that we have really struggled with, not only as a ministry, but as the industry itself, is the fact that there's a dearth of infrastructure. So when you're talking about Nollywood itself alone, it's struggling because there's no infrastructure to support Nollywood. We're working on a film village, on a film studio. We're working on that. But as I'm doing that, I'm actively making sure that as we're trying to build up the infrastructure for the Nollywood industry itself, Kannywood is not left behind. So so the infrastructure that we're trying to raise funding for is infrastructure for Nollywood, but Kannywood itself. It's not something that would have been able to be done in 2 years, because we as an industry have had to justify to even the investors, and even us as an administration, the worth of the industry. So for example, when you see FCT being able to put up infrastructure very quickly, that's because they have access to funding. The ministry itself has not had that same access to funding. We all know what needs to be done. We need to put up the infrastructure for film studios. Rahama already has, and Alinu already had a template. And I think we've spoken with MC Ashraf as well and Aisha Auki about templates for the film industry that needs to be put up. If we had the funding, we would have done that yesterday. But we're actively working to make sure that we put the funding in place. The creative hubs, we are working on delivering creative hubs. We've been able to access a commitment from the French Treasury, 100 million euro for the infrastructure. And I've really worked hard to ensure that of the 6 infrastructure capacity hubs and accelerators that are going to be put in place, at least 4 are in the northern part of the country. So you have 6, one in South-South, we have one in South-East, we have one in North-Central, which is north, we have one in SCT, which is north, we have one in North-East, and one in Northwest. And this is something that even when the infrastructure was brought into place and there was specific demand for the infrastructure to be put in just one part of the country, I held ground and said it has to be spread all around the country. So it's not about Ariwa. It's not about any part of Nigeria. It's about Nigeria itself and the creative industry itself. So it's about putting an enabling environment. Then funding. There is no funding. And I can tell you for nothing that Rahama and her team are actually pulling this off, or trying to pull this off through their own personal struggles and sacrifices, which is true. And this is what has been done in the creative industry. Why you see, while you see all the gains in the creative industry is because creative industry players have organically done it on their own. Government has never been part of that conversation, which is why, as a new ministry, it has been building literally from ground zero. We are lucky to have a president that has a certain kind of different foresight than we've ever had before. That is looking at building a creative industry for a growing population that really is asking Nigeria, what are you giving back to us? So now we're looking at this creative industry. So once we have this funding, and the ministry has a vehicle, Creative Economy Development Fund, which we have $200 million from the Afrexim Bank. Of course, this is a loan. So it's not money that is being bought and being kept in an account. No. It's going to be put through a special purpose vehicle. This money would have been disbursed even prior to now. But again, as the ministry, we said we were not going to do it unless also the same way that other industry players in every part of the country are trying to access this funding. Arewa also had to be part of that discussion. And I have to say to you, Rama and MC Aisha and Ali Nuhu have been very active in telling Arewa, listen, come to the table, make, try to access this funding, push. It has been very difficult because we also have Arewa to take responsibility for our own selves. We have to play the part. You cannot sit in your community and expect something to be done for you. Nigeria was created at the same time, 1960. And all of us from the northwest, south, east, and the middle belt will all bequeath the same Nigeria. So Arewa has to look at what the southern part of Nigeria have done and to take responsibility for our own selves, to also mirror what they have done. I think you touched a little bit about the conservative nature of the North. Yes, the North is conservative, but that is part of our story. That is who we are. That is our ideal and value as a people. And there's a great work in that. The fact that we're conservative doesn't mean that we don't have a voice. The fact that we're conservative actually means that we need film festivals such as this to tell our voices, to tell our stories through our voice, through that conservative approach. And I'm really excited for the world to hear our conservative stories. And these are stories of worth and value. And these are stories of a great portion of Nigeria that continues and wants to protect that conservative nature. And this is going to be done through the expression of engagement, such as the Arewa Film Festival. The incentives, again, if I wish, perhaps there needs to be more engagement with the media, because we do have a number of agendas. We have an agenda for job creation. We have an 8-point agenda, and even growing now, because we have, of course, the tourism spectrum to look at. So there's a number of agendas that we have, and in the Film Institute, with the Film Institute, Alinu Film, NFA, and of course CBAC as well. There's a number of agendas, there's a number of initiatives that we are rolling out, and we want the media to engage, to also engage directly with the documentation that we're putting out, because you will find that our ministry and the creative industry, together with all the different agencies that are directly connected to it, are the ones that are really working hard with very, very little to ensure that we add some value and bring some worth directly. We build roads and we have great, laudable visions of building roads and beautiful bridges and everything. But the vast majority of Nigerians are not going to be able to access those roads and bridges if they're not able within their own rustic and rural communities to have some sort of work through job creation. So, this is what we are doing, the human capacity development that this nation needs through this ministry and its agencies alone, and with the partnership of Rahma SADAU and her team. I think we're going to create something very valuable and very worthy, not only to the Arewa landscape, but to the Nigerian landscape and the success of Nigeria as one entity. Diverse groups, but very, very unique and very special. And Arewa has a huge part and a seat at that very valuable table. Thank you.
Okay, you asked a question about the new talents and how they will be brought on board and what they stand to benefit from the festival. You see, in this festival, we have so many sessions, like I mentioned initially. And one of such sessions is the Imagine Talents session, where we're going to have master classes for acting, directing, producing, cinematography, and all the other works of, film production. So in that case, anybody who registers, we're going to have students. Of course, we're going to have a portal where students can register and be a part of the festival. So they stand to enjoy such kind of sessions. That's one. Secondly, we talked about networking. When these students or new talents come for this festival, they're going to engage with some of the stakeholders in the industry, some veterans. Because we talked about our stories and how the narrative is changing presently in the film terrain in northern Nigeria. Most people are tired of the kind of old stories that we used to see in the movies. Stories, love stories, family drama, divorce, or what have you. We're beginning to treat very serious issues, very serious issues like drug abuse, banditry, and what have you. Things that you see, real life things you see in the society. And some of these emerging talents you're talking about have ideas, they're full of ideas that they really want to unleash. So this is another opportunity for them. Besides that, there are pitching sessions where some great filmmakers will ask the upcoming talents, do you have anything new to pitch? They'll be given that opportunity, they will do it. We have the Zuma Film Festival under the Nigerian Film Corporation, which we've been doing over the years. Last year we had a session like that, and some of the students that participated were able to get some funding to produce such short films. So we'd love for some sponsorship partners to come on board in the Ariwa Film Festival, and we'll have sessions like this to give such talents the opportunity. So these are a couple of things that we can engage them in the festival.
Okay, so the question you had for CBAC on cultural institutions. So I think generally as Nigerians, we've never really taken our creativity and cultural sector as seriously as we should. Mostly because this is our day-to-day life. Do you understand? If it's, for example, you see some of our basic things like calabashes in museums globally, in the likes of France, in Berlin, in the US. But to us, it's just a utensil that we use on a day-to-day life, for example, in Ariwa. But we have not come on board to understand the value chain of culture and creativity. There is a sector now called the CCIs, which is the Creative and Cultural Industries, and it's building. And Nigerians and Africans are beginning to understand that value. A lot of people who travel to tour the world are actually visiting cultural institutions. They're going to places that have been documented, buildings that people have lived in, royalty, monarchy, things like that. That is what takes a lot of people abroad most of the time, apart from regular leisure. Even when you travel for leisure, there would still be things you go to visit. And what an Ariwa International Film Festival can do is open up people's minds to these things. I'll give you a simple example. I'm from Kebbi State, right? We have the Argungu International Film Festival, 300 years of history, amazing history. The world knows about us. We are a UNESCO Heritage Festival, and it is coming up in February next year, all things being equal, right? But in my own state, I'm from that state, there are stories I was not aware of. So I went to the Zuru Uhola Festival, and I was taken to the shrine and understanding the belief system of the people and the value they had for our crocodiles. And what I didn't know was that even within that cultural institution, it came with value systems. You couldn't go to that to see any of the crocodiles if you were not pure of heart, if you were not coming to ask for good things. The people there would tell you, you have to be a good person of society to even be allowed in. This came before religion. This came before all the other cultures that we have adopted. And I think one of the major issues we're also having with cultural institutions is the lack of government will when it comes on the state level, which we are seeing a lot of the governors are now coming on board. You've had a lot of festivals that want to do bigger and better, for example, but they didn't have the government will. And I'm very, very happy to say that today, because of the efforts of the ministry and the Renewed Hope agenda, we're seeing governors supporting a lot of these festivals. And what this does for you is you have a festival that is pulling in the whole world. It touches on the tourism, it touches on the hospitality industry, food and beverage. The money trickles down and stays within those communities. And what a festival like this does is also to project those stories. You said to advise younger people, authenticity sells. Be your authentic self. Don't try to copy anybody else. Don't try to be, you know, we're constantly following. I'm here for the Black and African people, so I'll say we look at our colonizers and we copy them, we copy the languages, we copy what they're wearing and things like that. But authenticity sells. As a young person, if you decide to be creative and connected to anything within the cultural space, it sells. Today we're discussing climate change, and you're looking at climate change, they're talking about it globally, but we're not telling the stories on how it affects us. A lot of the farmer-herder crisis we see is connected to climate change. And we talk about the women of Ariwa. We're here. We're here. What we need to do is to continue to show in culturally and religiously acceptable ways, because whether you like it or not, that is the culture of our people. We have ways and things that are accepted and things that are not. And we may deviate from time to time because we're always human, but those stories are there. I say this to even our men. Your women do not have to leave their home to tell stories today. They don't have to. Even if you do decide that this is your culture, you are not meant to be seen or heard. Today, even with AI, you can tell our stories, right? So we're looking at ways that we are going to uplift our women in a way that they can add value to society. We are here to add value. We're 50% of the population. So we want to add that value, and our women are also willing to come on board. So all we need is for society to accept. And as like I said again, it is the film festivals like this, it is the movies, the films, the content that we watch that guide and groom the way we think. And we believe that Ariwa International Festival is going to support with that. Thank you.
I think Honorable Minister has already said, answered all our questions. But in addition to what she said, to your question, Madam, you asked about how can the creatives be part of the membership of the Ariwa International Film Festival. I think the Ariwa International Film Festival door is open to everyone. It is an international film festival, but creating and telling our own stories. I always tell my friends and colleagues that it's time we tell our stories for the global audience. We should stop telling our stories to ourselves. And I think the time is now. My whole life is cinema. You watch movie for fun, I watch movie because it's my job. So I sit down and I watch Bollywood movies, I watch Korean movies, and I see these stories are amazing. But when you look back at home, you see there are more authentic and original stories where you are. So how do you celebrate these stories? How do you bring out these creatives and celebrate them? That's what the Ariwa International Film Festival platform is all about. Getting the creatives, a normal mobile filmmaker from the streets to come and tell a story. A TikToker from the street to tell a story, an AI filmmaker. We see a lot of creatives on the streets creating things that they don't even understand. But then, when you look at it very carefully, you see that it makes sense. And since the inception of Ariwa International Film Festival, I sat and how it all came about was that we travel a lot as artists and actors, especially within the country. And I discover a lot of talents, for example, from the regions of Borno State, Yola, Katsina, and far beyond Sokoto. And whenever I travel to these states, I don't normally go with any team. I find my makeup artist there, photographer there, you know, videographer there, and it's so amazing because these people are not being seen. Why? Because they don't have platform like this, and that is what Arewa International Film Festival is here for. So the door is open for everyone. It's for the creatives of Nigeria entirely and Africa. And in addition to what you said about if I am working alone, of course I'm not working alone. I am not working alone. We are partnering with a lot of people. For example, the Honorable Minister has been so much supportive of this project, and we're so appreciative of her. The MD, Dr. Alinu, has been on board from the beginning. My sister Aisha is also here, and we have done our research, and we're engaging a lot of stakeholders from Nollywood also, and even beyond. We have partners also from Saudi Arabia, from France, and a lot. So there's been a lot of work that has been done before we reach this stage. So yeah, I think it is a platform for everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. We are going to give the mic to Mr. Ife. All right, the national coordinator of IDICE, Mr. Ife. Please, let's give our hands together. Would have.
So just one question. So as a Southerner who schooled in Jos, I understand very well that the fact, the idea that the Arewa community does not tell its stories is actually false. But like Rama mentioned, it's like the Arewa community tells its story to itself. And people who are not of that community are just simply totally oblivious and just have a totally warped sense of what really the Arewa community is about. And I think this film festival is an opportunity. So my question is, how do we ensure that at this film festival we do not again tell our story to ourselves? For example, is there a plan for like a national tour to ensure that the community in Lagos, the community in Delta, the whole film community is aware that this is actually going on and they feel like they're a part of it? The second question is financing. Due to the, I'm looking for the right words, due to the complexities of the region, there are certain types of financing that may not be encouraged. So how are we looking at other sources of financing? I know we've been talking to Rahama, for example, about the IDB funding that we have on IDICE and how it can support some of the work that she's doing in the north. But just generally, how do we also open up to even those who have other sources of financing and let them know that you have this pool of funds, you can structure it in the way that it fits what we want and what we can do, and then also shows you how the money comes back to you. So how do we make investments more attractive? Because if you're doing a film festival and you're not able to then fund the films that you're supposed to then get from that, you know, you will have done the film festival without achieving the maximum impact that you can achieve. So those are just the two questions that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for that brilliant question. So let me quickly just run you through some of the things we have done in-house in order to ensure that we're not telling our stories to ourselves. So among the strategies we have deployed is that we have festivals ambassadors, and among these ambassadors are diaspora ambassadors who are championing this cause in various countries. As we speak, I've just been checking, there were 2 of them who are on this stream, who are also following this press as we speak right now. One in the US and the other one in Canada. Right. That's one. Then two, one of the other strategies we have also deployed in order not to tell this story, like when we had a first press release, most of the entries that came in for the film screening did not even come from the Arewa. The first one came from US, and the second one from Calabar. That is to tell us that even the people outside this region are spying on us to see what we are coming up with. And I tell you that a lot more is coming. I think 2-3 weeks ago, we got another one from Bollywood. That's from India. So the outside world is waiting to see what we are about to unveil. And we are working in order to ensure that we give them, we give value for what is loaded in this region, in the festival. So that's one of the strategies we have, and other strategies, you know, we're working to ensure that we're not telling the same story to ourselves. That's one. Two, you also spoke about funding. Now, in order to ensure funding, funding could be very, very critical and very trickish, right? One of our strategy is that we are working with fixers, right? People who knows how to navigate these things, right? Yeah, I think as at last week, we have commissioned about 3 fixers, right? Who are going to run through, you know, how we could access fundings, not just locally, but even internationally, you know. And the conversation is ongoing. We're not there yet, right? But we are believing that we'll get there pretty soon. And the festival is going to end as tradition, it's going to expand into many, many years.
Sorry, I would like to add one more thing, because I know just having the name Arewa there is derailing people as to what the film festival is about. Festivals all around the world are named based on zones, areas, countries. Toronto Film Festival, it depends on locations. It doesn't mean that the content is Arewa alone. Do you understand? Most global film festivals, and that's why the international is there. You can submit based on various categories. It's just that what it does for you is it allows the Arewa voices to have a stronger and easier access sometimes. But it doesn't mean that it's an Arewa only, Hausa only, Northern only festival with the type of films that would be shown. So we look forward to obviously having the global community also showcasing, because people around the world want their own stories to be seen elsewhere. So they make submissions. We submit our own films globally, you know, to other film festivals. It doesn't mean that it's limited. It's just a name that is connected to the zone that this area is. So Rahama and the team, I'm sure, are looking forward to more global entries, and obviously our own people taking advantage of this film festival. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, no, go ahead. No, so quickly, I think this project is actually coming at the right time, when Nigeria needs to define herself for Nigerians first before the international community. We did scenario simulation before we even embarked on the project. I think one of the critical challenges that the Northern creative industry faces is adequate funding, access to adequate funding. Now, we have made the festival attractive in a way that is structured with diverse activities. It's not just about the screen playing, it's not just about the film screening, not about just Durban and cultural activities, not about poets, not about the panel discussion, the masterclass and workshops. There are numerous activities that would attract development partners. And we're hoping with the conversations that we've been able to spark so far, we're going to have with the minister and the DJs and every other development partners involved. I'm very, very positive that, like the minister mentioned, we'll be able to come up with something of value first, and be it a recurring, a potentially recurring activity. Hopefully with this first maiden edition, we'll be able to prove to the world that yes, we are ready and we're here for the international conversation. Thank you.
you, Dr. Let me just say, it was a very important point that you raised about the different funding sources. And as much as we want to make it very laudable, I think it is important for us. That is like the big fat pink elephant in the room is about really the funding sources. And like I said, you know, Rahman and her team have personally sacrificed their own funds in order, you know, sort of to push and open up the envelope when it comes to the creative industry, specifically in the Arewa part. I think the first thing is that now they have the buy-in of the government. So already we have an endorsement. The Federal Ministry of Art, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Industry has already endorsed of seeking different sources of funding. We are doing it together. So one of the areas, of course, is the private sector. So we're very intentional now, and you know, you saw us talking, the three of us. We're actually very intentional in maybe doing a private sector engagement, stakeholder engagement. And for me, what is, I think, the key ingredient is that they already have created a structure that speaks to itself. You know, so it makes it easier for us as a ministry and as a government to reach out to the private sector investments, to Afrexim Bank, UNESCO, British Council, some of all these, I think, institutes. So there are a number of entities that have an interest in creating partnerships and giving that funding support. But you know, you have to come with the right ingredient, and I think that is the main component that has been missing from Arewa. It has been very fluffy up until now. I think until now that they've come up with a proper framework and a sort of structure that is sellable. So any investor that you're talking to is also looking at the returns on their investment. And I think for what they have put together, I think it's something that will be very easy for us to actively engage investment partners, whether if it's a private sector, whether it's UNESCO, Afrexim Bank, to see that there is a lot of value and worth that is going to come back forward. So we're very intentional now in putting up a program in the next 4 weeks or in the next 8 weeks to see that we come up with different funding sources. The main thing for us is to ensure that this festival is successful. Because if the festival, the Pioneer Festival is successful, then it's a vehicle that is going to be able to easier run or to be able to sell to other funding sources. So me, I'm very active and very intentional in ensuring that the ministry and the government, and this is, again, this is the mission and the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, he's given us support, and we'll reach out again to other MDAs within the administration to have, even if it's not funding, but every other area whereby we need technical support or other form of support, for example.
Media, so we have the Ministry of Information,
and every other ministry that may be of support for the success of the festival,
we'll reach out to them, and also to state government, the state government.
And if it means that we're going to have to take it to the next executive council for the NEC, not the FEC, the NEC now, to bring this, I think it's something that would be of work.
All right, thank you so very much. And I think we've arrived to the last segment of our program. And also to announce to you that the official website of the Arewa International Film Festival has been launched, which is the arewafilmfestival.com, and the rest of the social media handles on Instagram and Facebook as well, Arewa International Film Festival. So thank you very much once again, and we would like to have a photo session. Yes, yeah, the high table. Our invited guest and the team of Arewa International Film Festival.
We are active. Or like somebody. Who are we looking at? Somebody will say something. Are we set? 3, 2, 1. Everybody say cheese.
All right, thank you very much. And please remain standing as we are going to sing the national pledge. And once again, as we sing the national pledge, please don't forget that we have the refreshment table at the back there, and also Malta Guinness is also here to refresh us. So please don't leave without getting some of it. So thank you once again, and Nine Nauku, Dr. Yakubu Sababdullahi, Nagode, Mungode. Thank you very much. Let's sing the national pledge. After the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
To be faithful, loyal, and honest.
Thank you very much.
Our DG is a journalist.
Everybody. Journalist DG, ba? Are we good? Okay. Yes. Sorry?
How do you see the festival contributing to the growth of the film industry and especially to our economy?
So thank you. So this festival, the Arewa International Festival, a film festival, is extremely important. You know, as a government, you know, we have a vision of growing the economy by diversifying. One of the areas that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has identified is the creative economy itself. The creative economy has a lot of value and worth to give, but that value and worth has been lost. It's not really been captured. So we're looking to see how we can capture that value, close it up, bring it in-house. So we have committed, you know, I've mentioned some numbers in the past, whereby we have said that we as an industry can create growing the GDP by $100 million by 2030. And, you know, people thought that it was quite ambitious. Recently, we just finished a data mapping project whereby we're looking at how the value can be imparted. And through the value chain, by creating certain variables, such as policies, such as infrastructure, all the right things that need to be put in place, we feel that it can really grow that industry. And part of the growth of that industry is what Arewa also has to give. Of course, you know, we have film industry as well.
the Kannywood film industry. You have the Nollywood, but you also have the Kannywood. And the Kannywood is a lot of money. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of Nigerians that just watch only Kannywood. In fact, I've traveled recently, some places that I go to internationally, in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, even in the Caribbean, that I just came back recently. They're watching Kannywood. So that's a lot of value. And this value is really to see how we can bring it back to benefit the economy, the growth of the economy, because when you grow the economy, then that money and that growth can be imparted and distilled down to the different industries. And I think this film festival is going to be a large part of that conversation, because this film festival brings a spotlight to the Arewa industry, which in large part has been missing from the greater fundamental conversation as to how the creative industry is growing itself in music, in fashion, in film. So, you know, this film festival is really going to allow us to tell our stories ourselves, conservative or not, but you know, the Arewa story. And it's an international film festival that also is open to the global community. But I think Arewa is going to be able to find its place in the committee of creative nations by the success of this specific film industry and the conversations that will go on from there. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Bryce? Yeah,
thank you.